Hello everyone. I, Megha Ahuja, welcome you all to Sashakt Dialogues, an attempt by Sashakt, the Ovarian Cancer Foundation, to break the silence and start meaningful conversations to combat unjustified cancer related stigmas. So, for this special episode in which we are going to discuss the stigma social exclusion, we have two wonderful guests with us today. Aanchal Bagga Bhatia, a cancer counselor and a cancer crusader, and Neetu Sharma Joshi, Director Urban Programs, Navjyoti India Foundation. Hi Achal, hi Neetu, welcome to the show. A cancer diagnosis is tough to handle for anyone, but the social consequences due to stigma attached are tougher to handle. Starting with you, Aanchal, being a cancer survivor, what has been your experience with social exclusion after your cancer diagnosis?
I felt cancer threatens the social well-being of patients and their informal caregivers. Even social life is also profoundly affected when we got cancer diagnosis. But if the person in your life who's very important in your life and he start avoiding you, it is much difficult to overwhelm the treatment. As I said, I I have got proper care, love and care during the treatment. But after completing the treatment, chemotherapy, radiation, I have faced this avoidance by my family. Um, After completed my whole treatment, chemo, radiation, my hair loss, I was breast. I was diagnosed as breast cancer. My one of the side wasn't operated. uh, I was been neglected by my husband after this operation. After this, during treatment, he gave me proper care, proper love, and everything from my family and friends. But after the treatment got over, somebody told me that this is the thing. If she has got once, so it would have come again. It is not the thing कि एक बार आया है तो दोबारा नहीं आएगा. But I got to know that this is going to become. They got to know this is going to come again. So they started avoiding me, neglecting me by my husband and in-laws. Even they explained my kids, by both the kids, they explained them. They were almost 6 to 7 years old, elder one, and younger one. I said as he was 9 to 10 months, 8, 9 months old. They started explaining me, okay, if you be close to your mama, so this is going to be infectious to you also. So they were ignoring me. They were not letting me go anywhere. They were not taking me outside anywhere. So this is the thing I got this thing avoidance after the treatment, not during the treatment. During the treatment, I got proper love. But after my first treatment of 12 years, I again got diagnosed breast cancer again, the other side. But this time, I did my whole treatment alone and fighted with it easily. So I would like to say that it is not there that parents or husband's family support is needed. That is the one thing. But without that support, even a cancer patient can survive and fight with each and every steps of cancer.
Very rightly said. It's all within us. If we believe that we can do it alone also. And the person who are not with us in our tough phase, then it's better that they're not there, even at the time when things are good. Coming to you, Neetu, it's the time when the patient needs utmost love and care, and instead, if they're excluded by their family or friends for no fault of theirs, it's the worst that could be done to them. What do you think about that?
As rightly said by Aanchal, you actually experience two kinds of extremes. Either it will be, the moment some cancer is diagnosed, the woman is likely to experience the extremes of both, either the exclusion, total exclusion, or over, care or over protection. So I think we should also look at avoiding both the extremes. So we must understand that anything which is, diagnosis, there it will be treated, and what will really help is the normal treatment, the way we've been treating, the way we behave normally with each other. I think that behavior should continue. Surely, people would need more care. They would need that kind of a support. But more than sympathy, what will be required is empathy. That we empathize as to what the person is going through, and we provide the support which in absolutely the right manner and in the right quantity, because anything which is overdone is also not good, and anything which is totally ignored will extremely affect the health all the more. So I think everything in a balanced approach is what is required to be adopted. And surely, social exclusion, sometimes it happens at both the ends, because the person who's suffering also tends to assume a lot that people are either overprotecting, or they are, because of under that assumption and under that pressure of and that suffering, the person at times also assumes. But that is also true that at times the society also excludes, and the exclusion may be related to in terms of because you are overprotective, you're concerned about the health, and that's why you unconsciously ignore and exclude the person. What is also more important to understand is that it is important to visualize and view that woman as a mother, or as a wife, or as a a prospect mother. So sometimes the exclusion also happens because you feel that this person who is a prospect mother may not likely to have children in future. So you're more concerned about those implications. Or sometimes you're more concerned about the children that the women already have. And then you instead of really thinking about what that person is as a whole, person is going through, you're more concerned how this how the children would survive with or what will happen to the family when the women of the family is sick. So that kind of a uh, uh, because we generally view women as in terms of those specific roles, the expectations of always in terms of roles that women perform, and not really as an individual, as a human being needs support and care.
Very rightly said. It's very important to downplay the whole situation, because if we exaggerate the whole thing and we just keep talking about cancer all the time, then also it impacts the person very in a wrong way. So going with a balanced approach, and then of course, as you said, we need to treat the person as a person first, other than the other responsibilities that they are into, because there are a lot of cases where people are excluded from their families just because they can't bear children in the future. Like, it leads to a lot of divorce cases and people like leaving their wives for this particular reason. Achal, social exclusion after cancer can drastically affect the patient psychologically and emotionally. Do you think it can have an effect on their treatment outcome as well?
Yes, psychology and emotionally, when a wife or male or female, whatever, whoever is facing with cancer, so emotionally they are attached with the people surrounded to them. They are attached. If wife has been diagnosed cancer, so she is worried about the kids. Okay, whether the kids will be there with her, or will be as caring as now she is, or after the treatment will be she caring for them or kids or not. So emotionally she needs attention for each and everybody, whether it's her husband, whether it's her kids, parents, in-laws, families, relatives, anyone, everyone. Uh, when I got cancer, when I was detected cancer, and I was detected as a breast cancer, I was a feeding mother. My child was 8 to 9 months old. So I was too worried कि how would I take care of him in future. अगर ये मैंने अपने feed दिया है, milk दिया है, तो will it be in future? Will it be affected to my kid? I'm having both boys, both boys हैं. पर in future I was worried कि will is he drinking milk, तो उसको आगे in future उसको problem आएगी कि नहीं आएगी. So I went to pediatrician, consulted him, and he said कि no, breastfeeding is not harmful to your child. अगर हमको फीवर भी होता है तो वी कैन गिव फीड टू ईच एंड एवरीबॉडी. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि कोई बीमारी हो तो आई कैन नॉट गिव फीड टू द किड. उसके बाद I went to the treatment. I went for the operation. My one breast was removed. I took chemos and radiation. And after taking chemos and radiation, I was not able to face my kids. कि hair loss, emotionally बहुत disturb हो गई थी. I was not able to face them. But so emotionally, if there is someone who is taking care of and if is not there with us, so we get as patients, we totally get disturbed.
Yes, that's true. And it's very important that as far as our treatment outcome is concerned, like if the person is battling with other things along with battling the disease, it definitely affects the treatment outcomes as well, because the positive mindset that the person requires, it is not just depends on the person himself or herself, but on the people around as well. So if that conducive environment is provided to the patient or survivor, it can really help make their journey easier. So, Neetu, things are still better in urban areas, but if we talk about rural areas and smaller cities, social exclusion after cancer diagnosis is even more prevalent. From believing that cancer patients are cursed to considering seeing them inauspicious, it all happens. What do you think can be done to combat it?
Because in rural areas, most of the rural areas are also on on economic status, and cancer treatment is an expensive treatment. So exclusion also happens because they are not able to afford the treatment that is required, and also the kind of care which is required during the treatment as well as post treatment, because it involves a lot of effort in terms of time, in terms of money, and in terms of the right mindset, which rural area which people are not really prepared to face in rural areas. And because of the lack of awareness, exclusion happens because of the lack of awareness. They also at times, a lot of cases are not diagnosed properly, so it is also attributed to a lot of things like past karmas and a lot of things like other stuff. And also sometimes they feel that it is untreatable. It cannot be treated. So there's no point spending a lot of money. There's no point taking care of the person who's already a burden on the family. So a lot of it has to be dealt with by doing a lot of awareness programs and sensitization programs, and at and also for the people who have cancer patients at home, a lot of support in terms of, because sometimes the people who are taking care of the cancer patient are not competent enough to take care of them. Even if there are intentions, even if they have the intentions, they may not be competent. They may not be able to understand how do you support more than financially. How do you support that person emotionally? So they may not have the competence and the skills to handle that patient. As Achalji rightly said, there may be mood swings. It is an emotionally draining experience both for the caregivers as well as for the patient. That kind of a support system for the families who have patients at home is required in rural areas. And also awareness on, so we need to understand the root cause of this exclusion, especially in rural areas, and then address these root cause with the right strategy.
Very rightly said, awareness is the key. We need to reach out to each and every person in the rural areas and in the urban areas as well, and educate them that cancer is not contagious, cancer is not something that can spread, and it's only the love and support that you have to provide and a proper treatment. Despite the medical advancement, cancer is still considered a death sentence, which makes the whole experience traumatic for people diagnosed with the disease, leading to social exclusion as well. In current times, life has become so fickle that death can come to anyone without any prior notice. So, as a society, it's high time that we need to downplay cancer and treat it like any other disease. How do you think we can do that?
Right. So I think what is important to downplay it as an any other illness is inculcating the right mindset about the real purpose of life, and that should happen at an early age, not really when people grow. Because when you instill the right spiritual, living habits right from childhood, what happens is that when people grow, they are into more harmony with their inner self. They have more balance internally. Because that is also true that anything can happen to anybody at any point of time. It is not just about cancer. We've seen people, who get strokes and then they're gone in few seconds. We've seen in the pandemic that people have gone in few days, and absolutely healthy people have lost their lives. So anything can happen to anybody. It's not just about cancer. It is also about the other uncertainty in life. But at the same time, whatever are trained right in the right spiritual habits, if we are trained in a right manner and understand the real purpose of life and give importance to quality than quantity and aspire for the right things in life, I think a more balanced approach and a more internal harmony is achieved. So we must start inculcating these habits at an early age in children, so that when they grow up, they are more balanced. They are more, they can lead a more meaningful life, and that has also become important in the light of how our lives have become stressful over the last few years, especially over the last few years. I think that kind of a training is high time that we start training our what kind of aspirations really are meaningful in life. If that happens, then anything which happens, any uncertainty we face, any challenge, any roadblock that we face can be handled more.
Very rightly said. It's very, very important to connect with ourselves. And if that happens, I think any battle is not difficult. So, before we conclude, what are the last words of wisdom you would like to share with the cancer patients and survivors who are facing this stigma? Starting with you, Aanchal.
At last, I would say to each and everyone that don't let your pain define you, let it refine you. Cancer is a journey, but you walk the road alone. There are many places to stop along the way and get nourishment. You just have to be willing to take it. So don't let cancer harm you. Be positive. Don't lose hope. It is a saying that when sun goes down, the stars come. So if we are ready to fight, so nothing can happen.
That's so very true. What message would you like to give to our viewers, Neetu?
I think whether it's cancer, if we just view cancer as any other challenge in life, because if we just view cancer as yet another, some challenge that has come, and we just have to win over it, I think the right mindset will help us to address it. But unless and until we have the right mindset within us, unless and until we have the right, attitude to fight it out, all this support is meaningless. All this will not help, but what will really help is our willpower and our positive mindset to kind of address it and take it head on.
Very rightly said. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Aanchal and Neetu, for this insightful discussion. I'm sure our listeners are going back with changed perspectives. I hope that cancer patients never have to face harsh treatment from people around them because of their diagnosis, and they're always treated with empathy by one and all. On this note, it's me, Megha Ahuja, signing off for the day. Take care and stay Sashakt.